So this looks really cool, and I can't wait for this new game to come out. But in the meantime, we have something else to finish off today. Godforge Quests. Let's do this. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Hollywood here with another Godforge video, the second one on this channel, and I can't wait to start making more of these videos for you. And in the meantime, before the actual game comes out, we have our Godforge Quests here to finish off today, the last day for Godforge Quests. I have nearly 2,000 summons to do today, and I think it would have been cool had I had over 2,000 because it probably would have made a better thumbnail, but nevertheless, I have 1,920 summons between two accounts. I have 480 on this account. This is going to be a free-to-play account and a secondary account. And I'm going to be doing some summons on my main account. I have 1,440 summons on that account, and I'm just going to be doing some summons on that account to see what I could have gotten, just for fun. And we'll see what kind of heroes I can get on that one, what kind of legendary heroes, and we can go through some kits and talk about that and some other gameplay stuff on Godforge. For when that game comes out, we'll be doing some discussion on the game. So we'll hop right in here and send out another mission. It looks like I have nearly 33,000 Aether, and if I was able to get about 35,000 Aether, I would have been able to get another level of imprint, an epic imprint, but for now I have a rare imprint locked in. I do have enough for a legendary weapon, which is Aegis. I decided to go with Aegis on this account because I had considered this on my main account, but I decided to go with Excalibur instead on my main account. And I just want to see what kind of benefit Aegis will have on my account. So as you can see here, I have 480 summons that I can do. And right now I have Ares locked in. So this is the Ares champ right here, right now. We have 106 speed. That's not too bad. 110 initiative. He's got a lot of accuracy. He's got more accuracy than some because some of them start off with 15 accuracy. He's got lower resistance. It's good to see them not making everyone the same or starting off with the same resistance and accuracy like other games do. His HP is pretty decent and his attack is pretty decent. That's what I have locked in currently at the moment, but I can do much better than that. If we look here on the Raven Pyros content creators average, for the rankings, we can see that Ares actually has not too bad a ranking. He's actually got an A ranking, which is good. But with my personal playstyle, I think I'm going to want to go with either defender or a support. So what I'm looking for is probably someone here on this top list is who I'm looking for these summons. Now, I'm not going to bore everyone with almost 2,000 pulls here with 2,000 summons, but I am going to throw the highlights in there and we'll discuss some champions and we'll discuss some random thoughts that I have on the game while we do these summons. So let's start cracking these Aether Stones here for this mini game and see what we can get. And see if we can get ourselves a good hero here to start off the game on our free-to-play account. First one that pops up there is a Soul Day, and she's actually a fantastic rare champion and someone everyone's probably going to want to get. And her imprint is fantastic. Imprint that heals the champions in the team. But we're not going to lock her in for now. We're going to go for more. So one of the things to note here with these champions that we have is that there are currently 9 playable factions in the Godforge game. Personally, I think that they're going to want to make a 10th faction of miscellaneous or potpourri heroes. Maybe they would want to call this a Misfits faction or a Wanderers faction. I've heard some people talk about various names. There we got a couple of epics there. Summon again. I think if they decide to do any sort of collabs Or if they start wanting to put more things like fairy tales or urban legends or myths in there, they're going to want to have some other faction there to fit some of these heroes in that don't align with our current factions. Let's say they want to have some fairy tales in there, some Brothers Grimm or Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales, or if they want to do some collaboration with current movies, let's say you want to put Freddy or Jason in there for Halloween, or you want to do Frankenstein. Or perhaps you may want to do something like Sherlock Holmes, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Aladdin, or something like that that doesn't quite fit into their current faction setup. More rares there. Got 400 summons left. So I think at some point they're going to want to add another faction in there. Oh, we got ISIS. All right, okay. Now, I'm definitely going to take ISIS over Ares because ISIS is a support champion. And I typically like to build around support or defense to start off any kind of team. Picking a good support or defense is like building a NFL team around a quarterback or a NHL team around a goaltender. You're going to want to have a strong support leader. So I'm going to pick ISIS here. And I'm going to select this hero, lock this hero in for now. If I don't get any other legendaries, ISIS will be a pretty good hero to start off with for a free-to-play account. Now, it's definitely going to be a little tougher to build a legendary in a free-to-play account than it would be, say, to build a rare or an epic. I initially did have Imhotep, who is a epic support, locked in for a little while until I got that legendary there, Ares. But ISIS is a good champ. So let's go and take a look at ISIS's kit. Here is ISIS, and she's right maxed out on defense. You can look, 137 defense. She's pretty slow though with 96 speed. She's got decent resistance and accuracy, which is good, and she's got fantastic HP. So her basic is Theft of Thebes. Attack one enemy with a 50% chance to steal a random buff, then spread the buff to all allies, which is good. It's a nice buff for the team. With an awakening, she extends the duration of one random buff on all allies by 1 turn. Ankh Heaven is the core ability. Play shield 20% of her HP, and you notice she has a big HP there. And if you keep building her with good HP, then she's going to have a good shield on her allies. Then place defense 2 up on all allies for 3 turns, and that's very good, 3 turns. Grants this hero an extra turn, that's fantastic. Ultimate Divine Intervention. Revive all allies with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. If Horus is revived by this ability, place Radiance 2 on him for 2 turns. So this is a fantastic healer and support champion. Shielding and reviving champion. Passive is Mother's Embrace. At the start of this hero's turn, remove all debuffs and disables from the ally with the lowest HP. Then heal them equal to 10% of this hero's max HP. And again, she's got a fantastic starter HP to build off of. So that's going to be a good heal. And her imprint is also very good. At the start of this hero's turn, remove all debuffs and disables from the ally with the lowest HP. Then heal them equal to 5% of this hero's max HP. So that's going to be a good imprint to put on another healer, perhaps. And one of the good perks, if I do end up keeping Isis for my starter champion, then with the echoes we can get when we summon champions, the ability for a person starting with Isis to get another imprint of Isis is higher, which is good. All right, let's go back to our summons. That's a fantastic champion, so right on. So if I start the game with my free to play with Isis, that's going to be a fantastic start. Okay, so I got 390 summons left. Let's see if I can get anything better than Isis, but Isis looks pretty good. So with picking Isis here, This kind of leads me to the thought of meta versus playstyle. So my personal playstyle is to build around support champions or defender champions. You'll see I have Shishi there as a rare champion, and I have to say that if you're starting off the game, Shishi is a champion you're going to want to target. Shishi is a very good tank champion and pairs good with a champion like a Solde for heals. I'm just going to quickly show you Shishi's kit here because Shishi is a very good champion and a champion well worth going after when you're starting off the game. Shishi's got a pretty good defense, pretty slow though. Very good resistance and accuracy. Basic Jade Protector, attack one enemy with 50% chance to place attack down for 2 turns, which is good for defending your team. Watchful Pride is attack one enemy and place defense up 1 for 2 turns on this hero. Defender allies will join the attack using their basic ability. Not too bad. Awakening 1. Any TN allies will join the attack using their basic ability. Ultimate Guardian's War. Place Protect on all allies except this hero for 2 turns. Also place Shield on all allies. Steadfast. When an enemy attempts to place a debuff on an ally, has a 60% chance to heal that ally. So Shishi is definitely a good rare tank to target if you are just starting off the game or when you start the game. Probably will be a champion I will target on this free-to-play account when I start off. Now, one of the things I have to say about rares is that I'm very happy that rares are actually good and useful in this game. Look at that, we have a legendary Grendel. And this looks like a pretty decent attack champion, but I'm going to go with support. So I'm going to stick with Isis for now. And I'm going to summon again. This is one of the tanks you may want to target when you start out. But I'm going to keep my Isis there and summon again. I'm going to show you Imhotep's kit too, as Imhotep is a fantastic support champion for an epic. So if you look at Imhotep's stats there, they're pretty decent all-round stats. There's nothing super low. They're pretty average. They're not super high either. He's got an okay speed at 100, not super fast, but not super slow either. He's got a decent HP at 1875, a decent and high resistance and accuracy at 66 and 33. Imhotep skills, basic, Bane of Sorcery. Attack one enemy, then place Reflect on this hero for 1 turn. Pillar of Support is the core. Heal all allies 25% of their max HP and place Stalwart on each target for 2 turns. Now this would probably be better if it was based on his HP, but it's still good nonetheless of their max HP. 25%, that's a good heal, that's 1/4 of their health. Ultimate, Steps of Ascension, and this is a cool looking ability too. This is an ability I had a lot of fun with in the alpha. He was one of the characters I played a lot with in the alpha. Place Radiance on all allies for 1 turn, then reduce each target's divinity cost by 3%, stacking up to 3 times. Awakening 5, reduce the divinity cost by 6 instead. And his passive, place Ward on the lowest HP ally for 2 turns at the start of each wave. So this guy is a very strong support champion for an epic, and he's going to be a champion that people are going to want to target when they're starting the game. Again, I have to say that I gotta give credit to the Godforge devs for creating strong epics and rares. I think especially earlier on in the game, we're going to be using a lot of epics and rares. We're going to be wanting to use these champions quite a bit, and we want them to be decent. We're going to have to be tackling the Pantheon boss with rares and epics a lot to start off with. aside from our starter legendary, if we get a starter legendary. Now, in a game like Raid, I still play a lot with a character like Coldheart and Demitha and Farrakhan the Fat. Demitha and Farrakhan the Fat are still on my clan boss team, so having strong epics in the game is very good. Alright, back again here after a little bit of a lighting malfunction. So we'll see if we can finish these 80 pulls here, and then I will do my main account. Alright, that about does it for my summons here for my free-to-play account. So I've ended up with Isis here on my free-to-play account, and I'm actually quite happy with that. I got Isis for a legendary champion, and I've got Aegis for a legendary weapon. And what you see now on the screen is my main account. It's definitely not going to be a whale or a kraken account, but it will be certainly a budget spend account. So I always like to support games when I play the games. I always do spend somewhat on games when I play them, and it's good to give back when you feel that you have a good game, so it helps out the developers keep building a good game. It's a game made by gamers for gamers, so I'm very excited for this game when it comes out, which should be here hopefully within the next couple of months, I would say. It probably won't be March, but April would be a very good month, and if it dropped on April 2nd, that would be my birthday, so that would be a fantastic birthday gift. Now, we don't want it dropping on April Fool's, because that would be kind of a joke, and no one would believe you that your game is coming out on April Fool's Day, so April 2nd is a good day for releasing this game, that's what I say. So, what we see here is that I have Quetzalcoatl locked in, and I probably won't change that, but if you want to stick around for a little bit of fun, I won't bore you with 1400 pulls, but we'll just show some of the highlights here, see what I could have gotten or what I may give up. I don't think I'm going to switch Quetz out. He's pretty much a champion I want to play. And you know what, well, let's just take a look at his kit and see why I like Quetzalcoatl so much and what his kit is. We're going to take a look at Quetzalcoatl here. Star of Dawn. Here is what quickly Wikipedia has on Quetzalcoatl. God of light, life, and wisdom, Lord of the day and winds, ruler of the west. So if we quickly look at Quetzalcoatl's stats here, we can see he's a super fast legendary hero. He's, if not the fastest legendary in the game, he's one of the fastest at 118 speed. If you look at the chart there, it's right up there. So at 118 speed, he's definitely one of the fastest champions in the game. He's got a good resistance, and he's okay for HP. His defense is not too bad. If we go down, we look to see that he has a leader bonus of 21% speed in all battles. So he isn't just a arena battle champion, he is an all battle champion. 21% speed, that's going to give your champions a great speed bonus. His basic skill, Serpent Fangs, attack one enemy and heals all allies for 10% max HP. So if you put good HP on him, he will do a good heal. If the attack is a strong hit, place Petrify on the target for 1 turn. Awakening 3 will place Petrify on any attack which cannot be resisted. His core ability, Soaring Currents, increase the turn meter of all allies by 20% and place speed up on each target for 2 turns. That's a very good speed up. Awakening 1, increase speed of each target by 10, stacking up to 3 times. His ultimate ability, Light of Knowledge, place attack up, sharpen, and accuracy up on all allies for 2 turns. Passive, increase the ally with the highest turn meter by 50% when this hero's divinity reaches 100%. His passive, when this hero is defeated, revive 2 allies with 50% HP and increase their initiative by 5%, stacking up to 3 times. Occurs once per wave. Awakening 5 will revive all allies when defeated. So I've heard this champion compared a bit to an Arbiter type champion, but he's also a bit like a Marichka type champion if you're coming from a game like Raid. When he is defeated, he will revive allies on your team. So one of the best counters for him is to kill him first if you're playing against him. And if you have him on your roster, one of the things you're going to try to do is to try and keep him alive with a good defense. Now, if you're starting with this champion, like I'm going to be starting with this champion, you'll see his imprint when this hero is defeated. Revive one ally with 50% HP and increase their initiative by 5%, stacking up to 3 times, occurs once per wave. If you put this imprint on another champion, you have a potential to create a cycle of revives, which is good for your team, keeping your team alive. So if you start off with this champion, the ability to get his imprint is more likely because of your echoes that you're going to be able to get when you summon your shards. So the possibility of getting a duplicate Quetzalcoatl is better. So heading on over to my summons here, you can see I have 1,400 summons. And I'm not going to bore you with all 1,400 of those, but we'll just put some of the highlights on there and see what I could have gotten if I didn't take Quetzalcoatl. So let's start ripping off these summons here and see what happens. Alright, you can see we got a legendary Loki here, and this guy is a guy that I don't want. If you're someone that does like a control champion, you may want to take this champion. I'm not going to take this champion, so I'm going to summon again. Legendary Mulan. Alright, not a bad attack champion there. I'm going to summon again. Alright, we got another legendary there after a bit of a dry spell. Alright, I hope my summoning goes a bit better in game when the game actually starts. That's an interesting champion. But I'm going to stick with my Quetzalcoatl and summon again. So we had a bit of a dry spell there for a little bit, and see how long it takes to get another legendary here. As I mentioned, we don't have a release date yet, but having played quite a few alphas and betas, one of the things I would recommend is releasing with what you have polished, and if you have quite a bit in the chain or in the works, that is a good thing. One of the ads I seen said over 200 heroes or 200 legendaries, I think. I heard also somewhere where it may be around 350. I'm not sure if that's correct. But if the game developers did have 350 champions, one of the things I would recommend would be launching with no more than 320. Keep maybe 20% of what you have back, and plan to release that over the course of the next 6 months. I heard recently on one of Susie's videos that she said there is a timeline built already for 2 years. So the game has quite a good planned trajectory. There we got Isis again, who I got on my free-to-play account, but I'm going to stick with my Quetzalcoatl. Summon again. Now this is pretty interesting. Sun Wukong, who is considered to be one of the better or one of the best damage champions in the game. He's someone that a lot of people have an imprint of, including me. Pretty strong damage dealing champion and pretty good passive. So one of the things Simon mentioned in one of his recent videos is having a good story in the game, and they do have lots to build on there with legends and mythology. And one of the things Simon mentioned also is that story is something that seems to be lacking in more of the Western games as opposed to the Eastern games. A lot of the Eastern style games and Eastern style gacha games have some amazing story, including one of the games I'm playing right now, which is Wuthering Waves. It's a game I'm playing right now and doing videos on this channel. So having a good story is something that's very good to have in the game, and it's something I would really encourage Fateless to keep doing for this game, is to having a good story. And considering you have so much lore there already to build on with legends and mythology, everything from the Iliad and the Odyssey to King Arthur legends and historical stuff. You got the Egyptian heroes, Greek mythology. Simon also mentioned having things like progress missions and achievement missions in the game. Things like similar to the Arbiter missions in Raid. Now, I don't know who is going to be their Arbiter adjacent champion for Godforge, but I'm kind of hoping it's Zeus. I think Zeus, being the king of the gods, I think he's kind of the champion that makes the most sense to place behind a progress mission type quests for achievements. That way everyone can eventually get a Zeus. For me, that makes the most sense, and whoever it is they have behind these progress missions, I'm hoping it's Zeus. Here we get Anubis, and Anubis is a very cool character, and he was someone I was chasing during the Alpha, and I believe I got him in Alpha 2. I'm not sure if I got him in Alpha 3. So yeah, he's a pretty good character. And I'll summon again. Keep Quetzalcoatl. Got 130 summons left. Another thing Simon mentioned in one of his last videos there was events like fusion events. I believe that was a Mighty Zoo collaboration video. It sounds like they want to keep the events fresh, which is very cool. It's a good idea. Maybe one month they may have a fusion, maybe another month they'll maybe have something like the caverns. I've mentioned before that I really like the caverns and I'd like to see the caverns come back. Maybe that'll be a month event. Maybe they'll do some sort of tournament event. Legendary Hell. Now, Hell is a very cool champion. She was the first legendary champion I got in Alpha 2, and her kit is kind of gimmicky, but it's also really fun. So I'm very excited for the game. I can't wait for the game to come out. We may have a month more to wait for the game. Hopefully it's not too much more than a month, if it is a month. And with 40 summons left here, it looks like I'm pretty set with Quetzalcoatl. I think the only champion I may have switched him out for would be a Heimdall. And Heimdall I did play with in both Alphas, Alpha 2 and Alpha 3. And he was a great champion. So if you did pick Heimdall, you can't go wrong with him. Last 10 pop here. Alright, that's everything. 1400 or over 1400 summons on my main account. And what I'm left with here is Quetzalcoatl, Excalibur as a weapon, and Unyielding Trickster as an imprint for my weapon. This, I think, will give my main account a good start. And I noticed there are a couple of good recent guides on Quetzalcoatl if you do have Quetzalcoatl selected as a champion. So keep an eye out for those. So for everyone who is just discovering this channel for the first time, thank you all to the Godforge community for joining my channel here today and joining this adventure with me. And I would love to see you come along with me on my adventure with Godforge here over the next number of years for when this game is going to be out. I'll be making as many guides as I can, and gameplay guides and videos, information, news, etc., updates for the game as much as I can. I do have a regular full-time job normally, so I will try to bring those to you as frequently as I can until at such time maybe I can get enough subscribers to do this full-time. We'll see. So thank you everyone for stopping by today. Until next time, take care everyone.